So the Red Band trailer for Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms dropped, and there was a couple things that I noticed that were different from the original trailer that I kind of wanted to go over. So this is going to be some of the things you might have missed from the Red Band trailer. So first up, let's talk about Liu Kang and his origin story. So what I noticed in this one is we do see that, well, it looks like Liu Kang's parents carrying Liu Kang as a baby, being chased by some Takartans, and they are basically killed. And it kind of reminded me of like the Batman origin story. Now I know you're gonna say, Justin, that's crazy, but just kind of hear me out. So we know that Bruce Wayne was with his parents. His parents are shot and killed by some guy with a gun, potentially the Joker. We don't know for sure, but that leaves him alone. Now we know in this sense, Liu Kang's parents are killed by some Takartans, and he's left alone until Raiden shows up and saves the day. So I see some parallels loosely in that, as far as it being similar to like Batman's origin story. And other things I noticed is that it's very similar to what happens in the Mortal Kombat movie. So what I mean by that is we have Bi-Han killing Hanzo Asashi's wife and kid, and then him killing Hanzo Asashi, and there being a baby left over, the heir to Hanzo Asashi's bloodline, and Raiden showing up to save him, just like what happens in this trailer. Parents die, baby is saved by Raiden. Now what I also thought was interesting is, why doesn't Raiden ever save them? Like, why does Raiden never save the parents? Why does he just wait for them to die and then saves the baby? What's that all about? Why can't he save all of them? Just some food for thought. Now, I did think was interesting too is that if this is very similar to the Mortal Kombat movie, then this kind of does prove that Liu Kang should have been the sole person that takes down, you know, I know that Bi-Han and Hanzo Asashi was a story of the movie, but it just goes to prove that that basically didn't have to happen, and that you didn't have to have Cole Young in there. Because from this trailer, we see that Liu Kang is the one that is the sole, you know, he's the chosen one. So this kind of proves many fans what they've always thought along, that Cole Young was just a character created for Hollywood, and he has nothing to do with MK canon. One thing I also do want to point out is that if this is going to be like his, you know, I guess Mortal Kombat animated movie origin, I think it does differentiate us a little bit from him being an orphan. He does kind of describe in the movie, and I believe in the video game, you know, him being an orphan and taken by the Shaolin monks and Baraichi and all that kind of stuff. So if they don't touch on that here in the cartoon, then I guess this does give him a completely different origin. So next thing is, when did Jax become Cyborg? Now, I know in the first one, he does have his arms ripped off by Goro, and then it's kind of like just taken away. And then in this movie, he obviously is going to get his arms, but they're not just his basic cybernetic arms, as far as it's just being regular arms that he can like he squashes Reiko's head with in the movie. Yeah, his arms can do things that they've never done before, so it's totally changing that up. So not only can he, you know, like shoot bullets, that I saw in one scene in this trailer, I guess he can also shoot projectiles. So it reminds me very much of Cyborg. And I don't know why they did that. They don't need to do that for Jax. I don't know why they need to. I mean, does that make him any better of a character? Probably not. I mean, I think the whole point was Jax has always had some type of upper body physique that was very, you know, it was bigger than most guys. So him having those arms just kind of reinforced that theory. And so I don't know why he would need to do that and have that. Later on in the trailer, since we're talking about Jax, there were some parallels between this trailer, or from this movie, and I guess the first one, because as I said in the first one, Goro does rip off his arms, and we can see in this Red Band trailer that Jax rips off the arms of Kintaro, which I think is very, you know, I know that they're related as far as similar species, you know, so it's kind of interesting to see that he's kind of getting his revenge, or what he thinks is revenge, on Goro, on Kintaro, by ripping off those arms, which I find interesting that, you know, just like in the movie when Cole, you know, kills Goro and he does his arms first, they seem to really react really weird when their arms are cut off, like they don't know how to operate. I know that's like most of their brute force, but you think they would train and learn how to fight as if they didn't have arms so they could be better fighters. But, you know, that's for another day. So something else I noticed was that we do get to see the Lin Keui Grandmaster. Now, I know that in the original video I talked about this, as far as like the cast of characters, he is mentioned in the original Hollywood Reporter article about he would be in the movie. And we do get to see him make an appearance in this trailer just very briefly, when it looks like a flying demon is basically going to rip out his spine, which I think is freaking cool. But, you know, it goes, you know, in the first trailer we saw, obviously, we know that the Lin Keui are going to play a big part of this. We do see Sector and Cyrax are fighting Kuai Liang, and then we do see Scorpion, I guess, in the Netherrealm, and then we do see Smoke kind of have a brief battle with him. So we know that those things are going to occur, so of course the Grandmaster has to make an appearance. So It's kind of crazy to see that that's going to happen, and I would kind of wish they didn't give too much away by this, because this trailer seems to do a whole lot of that. So we know that what his fate ultimately will be, either by the hands of Scorpion, or, you know, since Quan Chi died in the first one, I guess he's the new head of the Netherrealm, or maybe Noob Saibot will show up surprisingly. We'll have to wait and see. But obviously the Grandmaster does make an appearance, and yeah, he doesn't last very long. Something else you might have noticed is that Johnny Cage gets his gets nut punched or nut kicked. I think it's interesting that they showed this, because they spent a lot of time in the trailer talking about it. And what's funny about this, if you don't know, is that's one of Johnny Cage's famous moves. I don't know if he does it in the video game so much. Yeah, he probably does. Maybe he does. But I know he does it in the movie for sure, which would make sense, because that's what Johnny Cage is most famous for, is doing, I would say, moves that you would never expect from a normal fighter. While he is martial arts based, I just don't think that's a very formal fight move. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below if nut punching is a formal fight move in the martial arts set. But he does it like in the original Mortal Kombat movie with Goro, and it's funny to see that he gets it kind of thrown back at him when he's fighting, I guess, Devora in the trailer, and all his friends and girlfriends Tony are just kind of looking on like, get up, you big wimp. But yeah, she was him pretty hard, because he didn't like that too much. Alright, and lastly that I noticed was Shao Kahn is a Sanguinarian? So if you want to know what that is, a Sanguinarian is someone who basically consumes human blood, or just blood in general. And so I kind of saw this, and I think I even talked about this in my trailer reaction, or the trailer breakdown that I did of the first trailer, where it shows that Shao Kahn has his hand bloodied and his face is kind of bloodied, and it seemed like it was to his face, but they didn't show him licking it. So in this trailer, they show that, and yeah, it looks like he's totally licking the blood and like, tastes good. Gotta get me some of that. So I was like, okay. So when I looked up what a person is that drinks blood, no, he's not a vampire. Or is he? No, he's not a vampire. But when I looked it up, Sanguinarian is what comes up. So yeah, Shao Kahn is a Sanguinarian. Who knew? Word of the day for everybody that didn't know that, because I learned stuff myself. And yeah, add that to his bio, because I wonder what that's all about. And I don't know if the movie will touch on that, or if he's just some sick, sadistic person, and that's just how he gets his socks off in glory, is by drinking the blood of his victims. You know, maybe something like that. But yeah, who knows? But those are some of the things I noticed that were different from the Red Brand to the normal trailer. Of course, there's other things I didn't touch that we've already seen in past trailers, like the Mortal Kombat, the first one with the X-ray vision. That's obviously in this one as well. People getting decapitated, heads crushed in, all the blood. That stuff we've already kind of used. That's why it's Red Band. But obviously the stuff they listed here is stuff that you may not have noticed from the first one, because most of it wasn't in the first one. So you might not notice in this one, and it's kind of something that we should talk about, because it's interesting to see how, one, like I said, to talk about Liu Kang and his origin story, Jax and his arms, and yeah, Shao Kahn being a Sanguinarian. I'm still going to talk about that. That's just crazy to me. Anyways, let me know thoughts about the stuff that I covered. Is there anything else that I missed from the trailer that you want to talk about in the comments below? And yeah, I'm excited for this movie. I hope that when it comes out, it does all the characters justice, and that it got like over 1 million views already for the regular trailer. And I think the Red Band's like almost at 80,000. So I think it's doing really well. So hopefully it's a success. That's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, hit that like button. Once this one, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time on the Mashup.